how much football are you able to pay attention to right now being on the campaign trail? How much are you into?
Yeah. Well, I try. My 18-year-old said, "Dad, you just need to talk old football because you're out of the groove right now." Look, I watch. I watch as much as I can. I listened to that Jets Vikings game you called in
Oh,
London.
okay.
Not an offensive juggernaut that day, but we won. So following it, and look, we got the big game this weekend. It's exciting. NFC North. I was at Lambeau on Monday, first time ever. So
Really?
really, yeah, we were there in Green Bay for events, and we had a little extra time, and I said, "There's no way I'm not going over there." And when you go in the door, they have that big Lombardi trophy, and they said, our states have a lot in common. This is not one of them because you do not have one of these. So it was pretty harsh. But look, my team was worried. They said, "Don't go into Lambeau and be talking all smack." I said, "You don't go to church and swear. I'm not going to go into Lambeau and like talk smack. It's a religious pilgrimage." So it was amazing.
Yeah, and the thing I love about Lambeau too is when you go there for the first time, it's like residential area, house, Lambeau Field. It's just
unbelievable.
It is
parking lot. Yeah, it's unbelievable. There's not a taller building, and the place keeps that old school feel. Look, I like that. I mean, different than Soldier Field that has an old school feel that's really weird with a saucer on top of it. Lambeau, they did right. I think their upgrades. Look, they had to get the box seats to make some revenue, but they didn't ruin the feel of those seats at the bottom. So it was really something.
Yeah, and the Vikings have a really nice palace of their own now, 5-0, and taking on a Lions team. I don't. It strikes me you as a defensive coordinator. I almost went former defensive coordinator, but when you're DC, you're a DC for life. Yeah. But the Lions have their own head coach in Dan Campbell, their own DC. DCHC. I'm wondering, like, the way he talks. Does that resonate with you when Dan Campbell talks from the podium, right?
Who would not want to be on that guy's staff or be in that building? It's the wearing his emotions on his sleeves, but there's never a question you ever question that he's with his guys and thinking about it. I just love that passion, and I love defensive football. I always used to get into this with offensive coordinator. I'm like, why, slow this thing down a little bit, and we don't want to score all the time here. We got some defense play. But no, I watch the guy, and look, you turn a team around like that. It's culture too. It's the X and O's. This is a sophisticated game. It's all the GM work and all that. But I still think what gets overlooked is a guy like that. And here in Minnesota with Kevin O'Connell, true professional, not the exact same style, but they get the same results. They build culture that is amazing to watch.
Yeah, when I met with Coach O'Connell in London, I just got the sense that he's got his finger on the pulse of absolutely everything. And I know, again, he's on the offensive side of the ball, but you know what it's like to coach and know your team and know your style and know your players and know what they can handle and what you can add each week, and what he's doing with Sam Darnold and what he's doing with the rest of the team. I came back, I'm like, that 5-0 is no mirage. Like, this is a real deal team.
That's him. I said, when I'm around this guy, I'm convinced this guy could do anything. He could launch the space shuttle, it feels like to me, because it's just such a sense of competency that you're saying, all of the detail stuff. And I will tell you, a lot of this is, of course, the PR piece of it, the business piece of this, whatever. You will not find a just more decent guy who's there. And if you meet these folks and you can sometimes tell if somebody's really in the moment and talking about this, that is where he is. And I feel like Dan Campbell would be the same way, that it matters in the moment. So, no, it's a great organization. And I say this about all Minnesota professional sports. These teams, the Vikings being, they're just so great at giving back to the community. And when you got a head coach, he's out there as the face forward. We're just really proud of him. And look, the NFC North, I saw the point differential thing. All four teams lead. Across the league. It is pretty amazing because, look, Green Bay is solid and Chicago. So it's exciting.
Yeah, it's wide open. And again, so you were at the Brown Jug game in the Big House. So Michigan versus Minnesota, this is, I guess, the professional version of it without a jug on the line. So you were able to sort of, bridge that divide, right?
I walked down Lloyd Carr Tunnel. I mean, this is almost too much for me, the places I'm going. I was in Pittsburgh the other day, but Michigan, the fans were great, but I'll have to tell you, the coach and me, and I will acknowledge that I'm very emotional. I get a little bit excited. I'm around all these Michigan people, and there's cameras and stuff, and it's still politics is never too far from me. But damn, we recovered that onside kick, and that flag was late, and I'm about ready to go off, and I have to like suppress it and say, "Oh, dang it, that was a tough break." When I'm really like I was about on the verge of profanity. Are you kidding me? A late flag on that onside kick? So it was something. Hey, here.
You never got you never got in the face of an official back in the day, did you, Governor?
That's yes, I did. You'd appreciate this one, Rich. I was hollering at a game here in Minnesota, and I said, "Man, I never got terrible calls like that in Nebraska." And the official blew the whistle and came to the sideline. I'm like, "Oh, damn, this is not good." And he takes off his hat. He said, "Yes, you did, Tim." And I'm like, "Oh my God, this guy had officiated a game of mine in Nebraska where I did the same thing."
No way.
Yes. Comes over to the sideline and chastised me. He said, you know that if I throw the flag, you're seeing the principal." I said, "You're right. I'm ratcheting it down." So
what a small world. Get out of here.
Small world.
That really happened?
Yeah. These guys move around, and high school coaches, but high school officials. But it was fun. I think that thing is with the kids. It truly is. I think people minimize the impact of that. I got surprised here this summer. It's the 25th anniversary of our first state championship, and those kids came back, and I hadn't seen some of them. And I said it on that night, and some remembered that. I said, "You'll remember this night your whole life." And this isn't, this is important stuff. You're bonded with the people around you. And people have kind of minimized and said, football's not that big a thing. I said, look, it was harder to win that state championship than becoming governor. So just so you all know, when you're in this is not an easy thing to do. And those kids know that.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku Channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.